Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another great Ryze recap. I'm Symone Stanley, joined by Dan McDonald and Carter Wilson, and we have another great action-packed show for you guys today. So first, we're going to start off with our players of the week. Dan, you headed down to Buford, or headed up, just depending on where you live, to Buford. And what did you see there?
So Nate Brafford, this guy we had last summer in our Summer 60, and I think we tweeted about him at least a dozen times a week, and he deserved every last one of them. I mean, he's legit 6'8". Now he's skinny, but he is so skilled, man. I mean, he had 30 points again last night, hit a few threes, he's one of the best finishers I've seen, using the glass and using both hands to do it. And he passes like 30 points, but it wasn't a ton of volume. I mean, just such a smooth, effortless offensive player. And just with his length, he can be a problem defensively. And I mentioned he's skinny, but you watch him on the boards, he'll be in there. He'll fight with the biggest dudes on the court and compete for rebounds. So he was really impressive for me. I can't wait to see where his recruitment ends up. I think he's got a visit coming up to Rhode Island later this month, and I'm sure there'll be others that jump in the spring. But no, he was super, super impressive once again last night.
For sure. So for me, it's going to be Dylan Wohl with Sequoia High School. So Dylan recently, he passed the 1,000 career point mark on his high school career. We know all these guys have that goal on their vision board for their high school career, and he is able to check that off. He's somebody we watched several times with Georgia Legacy in the Ryze circuits and at Lake Point Sports. And he is the second member of the Sequoia basketball team to hit the 1,000 career point mark this season, because Kyle Keener did it as well. So those two guys took their picture, one of them holding up 1-0, the other two 0-0, just to represent the strength of that backcourt they have going on at Sequoia. So congratulations to those two. And of course, most recently, Dylan.
Yeah, big congratulations to the two of them. Like you said, just guys that we've become really accustomed to seeing. Like Dylan's just a shot maker. I don't know how many shots he's made over the course of a couple of years at our events. And Kyle's just a great playmaker. And together, I mean, they're one of the better backcourts in 6A. And, you know, I think that they deserve all the accolades that they're getting. And 1,000 points is a big mark.
Definitely. So, Carter, I think you have two guys this week.
I do. So the pretty much the game of the year, one of the games of the year, because they play more than one time in Northwest Georgia, is Lafayette and Lakeview Fort Oglethorpe. And Aiden Hadaway had probably one of the performances of the year in that game, in a win on the road. 43 points, 18 rebounds, and literally he does everything. Like he rebounds, he handles the ball, he scores it, he blocks shots, he defends, he can be versatile, he's big, like he's just checking all the boxes. And, you know, we've talked about him a ton, so there's not a lot that we haven't said, you know. But just the appreciation for him bringing that big performance to the biggest game on their schedule and seeing what he can do moving forward, I think for Lafayette, I mean, they have a legitimate chance to win a state title. Very good team up there in North Georgia. Very good program.
I'm just going to jump in here real quick for the great people in Northwest Georgia. I believe that pronunciation is Lafayette.
However it's said, I apologize.
I just want to jump in and, you know, I'm pretty sure I'm accurate.
That must have been irking your spirit there.
No, I just want, you know, I know there's going to be people from Northwest Georgia watching. I just want to look out for them down here.
But the other player that I had, we watched last Saturday at Grayson, and that was RJ Godfrey, the Clemson signee. And, you know, he's another guy, again, we've talked a lot about him, but the value that he brings to the table, I still feel like is kind of being underestimated. Like if you go back and look through everything that he does, like he plays every position on the floor for North Gwinnett. He rebounds, he blocks shots, he scores on the block, he makes plays, he passes. Like it's the biggest thing that they need. I mean, just because he can be so versatile and fill in so many roles. They have a great front court, they have great wings, and he's kind of filled in as that kind of backcourt spot. But then when he needs to, they can run a play for him and get him a touch on the block. And he's just an absolute terror physically for any defender. And he showed that on Saturday. He was really good. I think he ended up with like 18 points, 10 rebounds, probably like 3 or 4 blocks, and, you know, in a big game. So I think that we're just not really talking about the complete value that he's bringing to the table. And, you know, that's going to be a big thing for him at the next level, is how he goes and fills in, because he can do so many things. So if Brad Brownell needs him to do, you know, one thing, you know, he's going to be able to go and do it. And then the next game, maybe do something else. So I think that the value that he brings is just huge.
Definitely. So RJ Godfrey deserves some more respect, and also the pronunciation of Lafayette or Lafayette. Okay, so that's the biggest takeaways from today. But guys, we got to flash back to some of the games this past week and maybe the past weekend. So Dan, what was the biggest matchup that you saw or had your eye on from the past couple of days?
Yeah, so there's been a ton of good games this past week between the event at Grayson and just some really good region matchups this week. But Tuesday night, I went over to the East Coweta Pebblebrook game and kind of knowing it was going to be one of those really just tough games on both sides, two tough teams, two coaches that coach their guys hard and get them to really compete. And it was a really good game back and forth. Pebblebrook kind of held the lead for most of the game, but East Coweta just kind of never really went away. And their guard, Austin Colton, the big fella, Delrico Gillespie, were both really good. They just got a deep athletic team, but Kamai Young came alive in the second half for Pebblebrook. Andre Young was great the whole game for them, kind of running the show. And Jay and Simon, once again, I think he's kind of, Carter talked about a little bit of RJ Godfrey, just kind of one of those versatile forwards that kind of just gets underappreciated because he can kind of do a little bit of everything. And, he can take the hard coaching from Coach Washington and just had a really impressive year, and just another reason why Pebblebrook looks like one of the top teams in 7A with a chance to potentially win a state championship. So yeah, that was an awesome game. Great atmosphere as always at Pebblebrook. So that was my game of the week.
Yes, Pebblebrook, a team we're continuously keeping our eye on throughout this season. For me, one of the biggest games that I saw and heard about was Lambert's win over Denmark. It was a 68-67 win that came down to the final shot. It was Keenan Gagin. He had the final shot, the buzzer beater. They stormed the court over there, but he had a complete game as well. He had 16 points, 6 rebounds, and 5 steals. It's the 5 steals for me. He was out there picking pockets and then converting it on the other end. But as a team, it was very balanced scoring, like we continue to talk about. They have 4 players with at least 14 points. So they had 2 players with 17 points, 1 player, Keenan, with 16, and then they had another guy with 14 points. So they have 4 players with at least 14 points. I mean, you can't stop that.
Yeah, good team balance right there.
Definitely. Carter, what about you?
So I touched on RJ Godfrey a little bit, and Eagles Landing in North Gwinnett was a great game on Saturday. It was kind of one of those physical, kind of grinded out games that ended up being down the stretch was just, came down to the crunch time. And you love to see those kind of interclassification matchups between two teams you wouldn't normally see play each other. And, those are always fun to have. Thomas Allard was really good for North Gwinnett. Duke Clayton has been very good over the past 2 or 3 weeks for North Gwinnett. He's had 30-point games, and he's always in double figures. He plays tough on the inside and rebounds. So he's a guy that's down the stretch. If college coaches are looking for someone with good size and toughness, he should be on their list for sure. And they were able to get a foul on a 3-point shot from half court, and Thomas Allard was able to knock down all 3 of the free throws with 0.8 seconds left, like it was nothing. I don't even think he hit the rim. And they were able to overcome in overtime, and David Thomas was phenomenal for Eagles Landing. I think that we're talking about, a national type of player with, that should have Power 5 offers right now. He can just really score it. He's so physical. He finishes with both hands really well. He can just do it all. If it comes to putting it in the basket, he can do it. So it was a fun matchup. I mean, obviously it doesn't really matter a ton to either team, just being a non-region game, but just the pride that they took in the game, and both teams wanted to win really bad. And it was a fun one. And down the stretch, it was one of the better games that I saw.
Definitely. Now, y'all, let's get into some games that we're looking forward to either next week or this weekend. Of course, we have a lot of great matchups on the horizon. So, Dan, starting with you again, what game are you looking forward to?
Yeah, so I almost actually went down. One of the games I was looking at this week to go to was McDonough versus Fayette County on the south side. And unfortunately, just didn't have time to get down there. But great news is I get to see McDonough this week. So on MLK Day, which is always one of my favorite days of the year in Atlanta, just because we get so many good basketball games. And usually it's kind of sitting around the whole MLK holiday, which is awesome. But The Dream Challenge is going to be at Campbell. One of the games of the day is going to be McDonough playing Tri-City. So McDonough is 15-1 so far this year. And because they're on the south side, they probably don't get the attention they deserve, but they got a really good, deep, talented group. And Tri-Cities is always, I think they've been to the state championship a few times in recent years and got a heck of a backcourt with Peyton Daniels and Corey Mincy and the rest of the guys. So I think that's going to be a really, really fun matchup on Monday with just a lot of good guards and just athletic and deep teams. So I can't wait for that one, to be honest.
Definitely. And of course, like you said, the MLK Day theme for me is Monday at the Double Trouble MLK Day tournament. It's going to be Knoxville Catholic versus Norcross is their marquee matchup. It's going to be the battle of the 4 stars in the backcourt. You have BJ Edwards, Brian Edwards Jr., BJ Edwards taking on our guy, of course, from Norcross, London Johnson. 2 4 stars. London Johnson is uncommitted right now, but his commitment is on the horizon. BJ recently, this past summer, committed to Tennessee. So his home state, Tennessee, who's been rising right now in the college basketball scene. So those 2 guys are going to be going at it. I don't know if it's their first time going head to head. We know London's playing for Game Elite. BJ has been at Lake Point a couple of times with B Mays Elite. That's his travel program. I'm not sure if these guys have played head to head before, but that's.
If I'm not mistaken, they're actually pretty good friends. They kind of grew up playing against each other. So I think there is going to be a little something there.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. So that will be a fun matchup to watch.
Definitely. So we're going to be hopefully getting some footage from that game on our page. Not going to promise y'all anything, but be on the lookout. So Carter, what game are you looking forward to?
So no surprise here. The game that everybody has circled for the weekend is Newton and Pebblebrook. They're playing over at Mays High School on Saturday night. And I mean, what can you really say about it? They're the 2 teams that everybody's really has on the top of the list when it comes to 7A and when it comes to the state in general. You're talking about D1 matchups all over the floor, great guard play, good play in the front court. It's got everything. It's probably the game of the year of the regular season, and it could be a game that we potentially get again in the semifinals or finals of the state tournament, depending on how all of that shakes out. So I think a lot of people are going to be there, and a lot of people are going to the Newton crowd is incredible. Like, the Newton crowd is incredible, and they're definitely going to be geared up for it. So it should be a fun atmosphere, and one that, a lot of people are going to be really excited to see.
Definitely. So we got 3 great matchups to look forward to. We dropped a lot of players' names we're going to keep our eye out for this season, this summer, and our seniors that's going to be matriculating over to the collegiate level soon. So guys, this was another great episode of the Ryze Recap. Thank y'all for watching. Make sure you like this video, comment your thoughts, subscribe to our channel. This is Symone Stanley, Carter Wilson, Dan McDonald. Until next time, thank you guys for watching.